Greetings, adventurers. Welcome back to another week of Tatts and Tarrasques. As we make our way through the Underdark with these Underdark pirates. Who can give me a bit of a recap of what happened last week?
I'm going hands off for this recap. Enjoying my Jack Daniels.
Essentially, with the last one, we, after defeating the Medusa, we then semi-recruited some drow. We got the help of the badass sorcerer Sorn, who has now joined the party. Sorn's actual person is holding a very cute little cat right now, which is very distracting while I'm trying to speak. It's not fair.
Damn.
Essentially, we had a bit of a shopping session. We went and talked to the council in Blingdenstone, explained and convinced them to let the drow help fight the Pudding King, and then we'll take them away after that's done. We then went to the best store in Blingdenstone, because now it is sponsoring this ragged band of adventurers. Pauly has a new sexy cloak of protection that he got for the cheap. We then got ambushed in the store by some black oozes and puddings. Those little bastards really tried to give us a root go, what for? But Sorn and Pauly and Winfred and Thorendir gave them their what for, and fucking spacked them around the whole store, making literally a spectacle out of it out the front. A bit of a show for the crowd, and then had a sick party, like really sick party back at the tavern. Spreading the story of Thorendir Diamond Hands Grimsbane.
And that story has begun spreading, not really the reason why he has a diamond hand, just that there is a dwarf in town who is heir to the Grimsbane fortune, and he has a diamond hand. Joining you, of course, in those escapades was Winfred the Bearkin. Mostly feeling a little bit better. He's got his little mushroom hat on, I believe, as he cruises around the Underdark.
Call it a hat. It's like a little dude sits on my head.
Yeah. He's been awfully quiet since you've been in Blingdenstone, though. You usually, or previously, were getting sort of small messages, or if not actual words, certainly emotions and vibes and stuff like that from the spores that he would release onto your head. And then finally, of course, last but certainly not least, we have a new member of the party, but not a new player. Dill, do you want to give us a bit of a recap of who your character is and how he joined the party?
I'm Sorn, the drow sorcerer who was up until recently he had a bit of a stoned problem, but he's no longer stoned. He's he's mentally sharp at the moment.
So could you say he's a sorcerer?
No. Just a sorcerer. Unfortunately. I mean, his school would be called the Sorn School of Sorcery, but he's not quite there yet. But yeah, no, drow sorcerer who likes to fuck shit up and use lightning a lot. Some would say he's electrifying.
Well, some would say he's greased lightning.
Exactly. Slicks his hair back.
Cool. Right, so you spend the night in town in Blingdenstone. Pauly, you make sure that you collect your cloak, your fancy new pirate cloak. The start of the day, that new cloak of protection, offering you an extra +1 to AC and +1 to your saving throws. And then you and the rest of the team make your way through the town, or led first thing in the morning. And it's hard to tell it's in the morning, obviously, because you're in these Underdark caverns. But in the middle of town is a sort of a stone pillar, a big stalagmite. And you've noticed over your time here that fairy fire is imbued on this, where there's these sort of glowing lights that slowly make their way up and down the stalagmite over the course of a day, sort of indicating to anyone in the city who can see it what the time is. So what must be sort of early in the morning, you're led through the winding corridors of Blingdenstone, and some members of the public kind of gasp, especially when they see you, Sorn. There's a lot of like a lot of muttered, a lot of whispers. But some people, especially sort of some of the younger gnomes, do wave, give you a kind of a big cheer as the group makes their way through the city.
So they fucking should.
Winfred thinks it's for him, and he starts waving back. Hi.
Yeah. One of the little gnome children, when you wave back and yell hi, like one of the little gnome children, like ducks behind their mother's legs, and kind of peers out at you from behind them. Maybe it triggers your mother cub instinct. I don't know, your mother bear instinct. I don't know if Winfred has those. Male bears, are they territorial?
They have patriarchal instincts, but that's mainly when predators are afoot. That's why I jump to the defense of people hiding behind me.
Yeah, gotcha. Eventually, you're led through. If you remember, Blingdenstone had sort of a main entrance door, and you actually you're led through it by the guards, as there's sort of a maze network out the front of Blingdenstone to get to the docks, and you make your way down the sort of 100 feet of that giant staircase to get to your ship, which has seen an incredible overhaul. Where they can, it looks like they've sort of patched the ship up with sort of mushroom stalks, sort of a fungi wood, and have sort of outfitted you for the journey ahead to Grastuluch, the city of Grim. But apart from that, everything looks like on your ship as you had left it. And in fact, I want to give a bit of a shout out to. I want to give a shout out, but now I haven't written it down. Who I got this map off? Let me double check. Lim Ithron on Patreon. You'll notice you can move your tokens onto in front of the doors or onto the ladders, and then you can click the little button like you would open a door, and it will move you around the ship.
Oh my god.
Oh, that changes everything.
Sorry guys, I'm just getting my food. I'll be back in a second.
Yeah. So yeah, theoretically, you should be able to wander around the ship and check it out, since it has been all refitted. All the your regular folks are there. You see, actually, as you come aboard, each of you, Thorendir, Pauly, Winfred, kind of trudge aboard. Sorn, when you step aboard the ship, you climb up the gangplank and look about. You sort of see that the top deck of the ship is empty. Until you hear, "Look out! It's a drow! Blow him up!" And flying from the rigging is a small gnome. And you hear sizzling as he flies down at you, sticks of something bursting in small sparks held in each hand.
Okay. I am going to... can I make an acrobatics check? Can I guidance myself?
You can, if... yeah, sure, I'll let you guidance yourself.
All right, I'm going to guidance myself and then make an acrobatics check. To like.
Well, tell me what you're doing, and then I'll ask for a check.
Step out of the side.
Yeah.
Like, just step to the side out of his way.
Yeah.
That guidance was another, what is it? D4 / roll 1d4.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Let's see what his...
It's a 20.
Like, he's not the most dexterous. But lucky you had. You didn't necessarily need the guidance, but yeah, you hear you hear the look out, it's a drow, and then this small gnome is flying at you from the crow's nest. Some sort of flaming ball in each hand. You're able to sidestep deftly out of the way, and he collapses to the deck. His hands open up, and the balls with what appear to be sort of some kind of string, and the string letting off sparks. Something it's something you've never really seen before. Roll off the side of the ship, and you hear sort of a sizzle and a fizzle as whatever was sparking perhaps is extinguished.
And I'll say to him, or I'll say to Pauly, what do you call this?
I call it a fucking fun time. And then I'm gonna like pick up the gnome by the scruff of his back of his collar. I'm like, he's a friend. You don't need to hurt him. Don't worry.
You big wee dafty. It's a Drew. Let me.
I'm just gonna hold him out a bit further, so that way he can't hit me.
Yeah.
Someone will outreach his hand to sort of like shake hands. Make.
I'm just gonna hold. Yeah, I'm gonna hold him out like that, just like now play nice. Is he still just like swinging?
Yeah.
Still just swinging.
Give me a persuasion check.
All right, I'm gonna swap hands. All right, it's easier. I can't click with my left hand. I'm sorry. Natty 20, baby.
So Nesbit, the rock gnome, sort of stops flailing about, and he says, "Ah, whaley, you brought on another person to take my share of the treasure. My poor ratty'll go hungry this week for sure."
You guys are getting paid?
No. No one's getting paid, Winfred. Don't worry. It's fun.
Thanks.
Well, Mr. Drew, sorry I tried to explode you can. But you can't be too careful in the Underdark. And he's still being held by Pauly, and he's like, "Put her there! Nesbit Bumblefoot! At your service!"
Well met. Gnome.
And he shakes your hand and kind of bounces up and down in Pauly's arm, or in Pauly's hand to like do the shaking kind of motion.
Well met.
And he says, for ease of narrative sake, mostly because he's not here, Thorendir gives the order to set us out, give us a heading, and then he goes to his room. His room's aboard the ship, and cloisters himself away, so Dan doesn't have to do the Thorendir voice too often.
Fair enough.
Look, I can do it. I've had some practice.
Yikes.
He definitely has.
How about Pauly, my boy, we have to get the Grat to look. But it will be a perilous journey, and I will need a disguise. For I am Thorendir Grimsbane, heir to the Grimsbane fortune. And I don't know if you know, but this Grastalug is the city of Grim, the city of our sworn enemy. Or really, we're more their sworn enemy, because the Grimsbanes don't have enemies, because no one is on our level. But they don't like us. So, my boy, I'm going to need you to get the ship going and get us to that port, and I will put myself in my rooms and work on a disguise. An excellent disguise. It will have to be, because no one will need to make sure that the Grimsbane underneath does not shine through. Take him down!
He has disguised self. I just went onto his character page.
Yeah.
You can use that. But I mean, I like the idea of him maybe becoming trying to be like a rock gnome, or no, fuck it, no. Okay, can he please? be a dwarf, be Thorendir Grimsbane, disguise himself as Thorendir Grimsbane, just without a beard. Straight up, we're talking like I want to see an alopecia dwarf right about now.
Oh my
You know what I mean?
Well, we'll leave that up to him on what he wants his disguise to be.
I'm not saying shave him off. You know what I mean? You know, just
just mystically shaved. But when you touch, you try and touch it, the smoothness.
yeah,
There's
the beard is still there.
Yeah. Very good. Cool. So the 3 remaining zombies on the ship who are all sort of come up from below deck and kind of groan and shuffle towards you. Sorn, how do you react to zombies on the ship?
I feel like I will have seen them around. I'd be a little bit confused. I'd look at them and just have a bit of a puzzled look on my face, and just sort of like point at the zombies and then point at Pauly and be like, "Are they okay?"
And then like on that, I'm like, "Oh, how's Kingston?" I'm sure, like, you know, Kingston. I'm gonna yell out for Kingston.
And Sorn will just he'll get into the rigging for a second and just he'll look down at them until he knows what's actually going on.
How does Sorn feel about a ghost pirate on the ship?
Well, I mean, he saw a lot of ghosts.
Yeah, good point.
Kingston kind of floats up through the deck and says, "Yar, you be back. There've been deep gnomes all over the ship. They put us in the dry dock and they scrubbed all the barnacles off. I've been collecting those barnacles for 1,000 years. Hundreds of years. Those were my barnacles. They had no right to scrape them off. A pirate gotta be proud of his barnacles. It shows he's been somewhere."
You're right. We're gonna go all carrying on their asses when we get back to Bloomington, mate. I completely agree. It's disgusting. All right, we're gonna make them put on 1,000 years worth of barnacles back onto the fucking ship. Don't worry, mate. I completely agree with you. I do. I straight up do. It's disgusting they removed the barnacles. It's a downright. It's a war crime.
Aye,
Right?
Pauly, you know how it is. A pirate like me's been around, pull into port, you pull into Tortuga, and the other pirates say, "Oh, look at this fresh keel. Look at this smooth keel you got there, Raging Rolls."
Show your bloody character, mate. You know, shows you've seen the world.
Then you gotta have to start keel hauling folk just because they don't like the look of your keel because it's so fresh.
Holy.
Yeah, how can you keel haul the crew without a bloody good couple of barnacles set up on the way? You know what I mean? Otherwise, you just wax in the bottom of the fucking boat. That's boring.
Winfred's over in the corner talking to a zombie, being like, "And then I said, ask the narrator." The zombie's just like,
Shaun of the Dead for you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to drop that in there real quick.
Sorn will ask.
I'll go steer our ship too. By the way, I'll be.
No, I'll do it.
Oh, that's right. I taught you how to do it.
You did. I'm a very good navigator.
Sorn, since Thorendir is not on deck, we'll ask Pauly, where do I bunk? I need rest.
Honestly, find anything that doesn't have like zombie limbs in it, and you're fine.
Well, Sorn will make his way below deck and go and find
Just be careful. Just be careful of the Winfred angst room. There's just a lot of emotions in there.
Don't touch my stuff.
So the other thing you can do, which is also kind of fun, Pauly, if you walk up to the rigging and click on the little arrow.
Oh yeah. Ooh. All right. So I'm up in my bed.
That's cool.
Sorn has just taken a spot where there was a hammock in the lowest deck of the ship. So he's in the dark because he doesn't like sunlight or any form of that sort of light, so he's as far from it as possible.
Hey Dan, I have a question.
Yeah.
Remember all of that lumber that we got from Sloop de Loop from the mushrooms?
Yeah.
What happened to it? I would imagine after a little while of like sitting in a musty ship, it's probably like gross balls.
Well, it was already kind of gross and spongy, right? Although it had been mostly dried out, if I remember correctly. I think some of it, well, most of it's still in the hold of the ship. Though part of the repair work, I think they used some of it for sure, as I think that was, you told them that you had wood and you were going to use it for that very purpose. But there's still plenty in there, and it is sort of spongy and somewhat alive. There's definitely sort of maybe even a little bit of growth happening there as it's sitting there in the dark, in that sort of warm dark of the base of the ship. When you come home,
little toad,
who's
sitting on my shoulder. If I take him back to the ship, is he going to interact with the
Well, when he comes back to the ship, you feel things, not necessarily words or really thoughts. It's more sort of you feel like home, elation, family, as you get closer to the ship.
Okay, cool.
Journey
Off
spreading.
you go, little buddy. Go and be with your people.
The hat kind of jumps down off your shoulder, off your head. The sort of mushroom, the toadstool hat, and
I'm just gonna call him Hat.
Yeah. He doesn't. But when he hits the ground, he kind of there's just sort of a light, as it doesn't get up and move or anything. Like you don't even see legs of how he jumped off your shoulder, and he just kind of sits there unmoving on the ground, in the base of the ship, next to the lumber pile.
Still looking cranky as ever.
Yeah. Or you look away and look back, and he's no longer there. He's moved himself up onto one of the piles.
Right. He's one of those ones where he just moves whenever I'm not looking.
Yeah. And you have no idea what his form of locomotion is. It's just you get distracted for a minute, like someone calling down from up top, and you kind of look back to go pick him up, and he's not there. He's already moved himself onto the.
I can just imagine Winfred just being like trying to play a peekaboo with him to try and figure out how he moves, just like.
Yeah. And every time.
I'm gonna go down to the bottom of the ship and go and curl up in my my little nest that I've created in the bottom half of the ship.
Yeah, cool.
And I'll stumble down the stairs, and then I'll see Sorn in one of the hammocks. But like, we're roommates. So this is my half of the room, and this is your half of the room. And so long as we don't cross those two halves of the room, we won't have any problems.
Oh, that's right. You're a male bear. You're territorial.
Yeah.
I really want Sorn to just like put 1 foot over and you start growling like crazy.
Yeah, but like bears are also afraid of
you
loud
might want
noises.
some earplugs because I snore.
Wait. Is Winfred talking to Sorn?
Yes.
Is Winfred on the lowest deck of the ship?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry,
so
on the map, I'm still on the thing.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just moved I didn't see anyone down there because I've just been like organizing the cat as well. But yeah, Sorn will be like, yeah, that's fine. I'm not overly territorial or bothered by any of that sort of thing. But if you get angry, I just need to know one thing as a friendly question. Are you afraid of loud noises by chance?
Buddy, I'm a bear. I am the loud noise more often than not.
But do loud noises startle you?
I mean, depends on the loud noise. Do you fart in your sleep? Is that what the loud noise is?
Oh, some would say my farts sound like thunder.
Oh, trust me, buddy. My farts, you don't want to be around for that.
And so, as Sorn says, you hear a thunder crack in the background, and he's like, "Oh, sorry."
But Winfred, I'd like to make an investigation check to see if I can find something to mark the floor with.
Well, yeah, you can find something. Sure, you don't need to make an investigation check. Just tell me the thing you're doing, and I will tell you if you need to make a check.
Yeah, sure. I would like to draw a line halfway down the ship on the bottom half, so that Sorn knows if he puts a toe over that half of the ship that like he's crossed into Winfred's territory.
Now, I'll ask for an investigation check to see how straight you can make this line, for sure.
An
It's a low roll. He gets like he
Do you, want
gets.
me to, do you want me to roll an investigation check, or do you want me to roll like fucking, I don't know, like a fucking intelligence check or something? Because that seemed like.
Investigation's fine. Because
All right.
I think attention to detail, I think, is
It's fine. I have a -1 to investigations.
yeah.
There we go. It's a 4.
So you
Someone-
you look at Sorn and you say like, well, you tell me what you think a 4 looks like.
I'm just like, after he stops talking about his farts, I'm just gonna like go and pick up like a piece of chalk or something, or like something I can mark the floor with, and just like go down from the wall and then across the floor and then back up the other wall.
Yeah.
And like just over the things that are on the floor, like boxes and whatever might be there, just so I can make like a line to the other side of the ship.
Yeah,
Would
but
you
because
make
you
your
rolled a
line,
4,
like over here.
because you rolled a 4 though, it's very much like you end up like walking around in a circle a little bit, like it's a very uneven line. And when you look at it, you're standing in a very small space on your half of the room.
Someone will agree that everyone gets their own personal space, and someone will just say back, as long as I get this little corner of the ship, this little hammock, that's all I ask. That's all I'm bothered with. If you want the rooms up the front, you can have both. I do not care, as long as I have just a small private space in the dark. I'm good with that.
Okay. I'm just gonna like go back up, like after like dropping a little hat downstairs. I'm gonna go back up and sit at the helm.
Cool. All right. So with the tide, the zombies start pulling on the riggings, and you hear groans. One of them loses his arm, and the other zombies have to come over and like help pull his arm off the rigging and attempt to reattach it. But eventually, you're able to raise the capstan and set sail into the Underdark. That's right.
Yeah, actually, I'll just stay up. I'll stay up in the parrot's nest and just watch out stuff.
I am listening. My housemate bought me a 6-pack. I'm gonna go grab it.
Fuck yeah.
Make sure you brought enough for everybody.
No.
All right. Cool. All right, so you push off into the great unknown, the deep dark of the Underdark Dark Lake. Winfred is at the helm, Pauly up in the darkness, obviously with his sort of night vision goggles. Now, Pauly, do you give me a feel for just sort of paint me a picture?
As far as I remember, anyway, like we took from the Kraken the eye, put that on the wheel. So anyone, okay, that's right. Sorry, not anyone on the ship, but anyone on the wheel can see for.
That's right.
While.
Yeah. So Winfred can see out into the darkness. Weirdly, he can't see like a meter in front of his face because that's pitch black. But he can see like 100 feet past the ship.
On the ship, yeah. Okay, right. yeah. Right.
I've like since we've put the Kraken's eye on there and gone and done all this other stuff, like. Because Winfred's a fucking idiot. He's forgotten about the Kraken's eye. And so he's just like put one of his hands on the wheel and he's like, what the fuck?
I might even just like fly up that next one so that way I'm right at the front. You know what I mean? So that way I'm really having a look out.
Cool.
Yep. Dylan, we've lost your video, mate.
Oh, what the fuck, man? Why does it keep happening?
All right. So you guys are sailing through. Where did I put my notes? Okay. Sailing through the Underdark and seeing as Winfred is steering, can you give me a D20 roll, please?
Great, D20?
Mm-hmm.
That's 12, that's 20. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. Okay, I
Mhm.
see how it is.
The first day goes by uneventfully. It seems like the area around Blingdenstone is pretty quiet. You've been given some instructions on where to go from the gnomes in Blingdenstone, but you were also given. I can't even remember the guy's name now. What was the? Yeah, Murgrim. Doombrand Murgrim. He's sort of on the ship with you, if you remember the Duragar stowaway that you picked up in Sloop de Loop.
The Duragar stowaway. I don't remember.
Didn't he leave though? Or no? Did he stay on the ship?
He stayed on the ship because he wasn't going to be
Awesome.
welcome.
That's correct. Yep. I didn't really talk to him. I'm pretty sure.
Thorendir did most of the
Right.
talking.
Yeah, Thorendir did. Yeah.
And
I
possibly
don't think we. Yeah, Reynold did too. We didn't do much talking.
Reynold.
I was on bear control.
So the first sort of day and night goes by most uneventfully as far as these things go out on the high seas. Winfred, roll me another d20.
E20. My dice are cursed. I know they're online and they don't technically exist, but they're cursed.
Fair enough.
You enter into an area where, as you're making your way, you're keeping sort of a coast. You're keeping the coastline, or I guess the rock edge, the edge of the cavern, to one side of the ship, so that you kind of know better where you are at all times. And there's sort of you don't feel it in the water, but the waves themselves start getting choppier, and you see that parts of stalactites up above you start falling from the ceiling. Winfred, give me an athletics check to sort of steers your way around these things and react appropriately.
And this is why I'm in charge of steering the ship, and I have a +7 to athletics.
Real.
You're able to avoid most of the pieces, but there are still rocks falling down. So anyone on the top of the ship needs to make a dexterity saving throw for me, please.
Catch me. $19.
Yeah, you definitely kind of jump out of the way as your small rocks and debris. You feel some of the smaller chips
22.
crack onto you. Same with you, Sawn, but you're able to kind of dive out of the way just in time before some of the larger pieces land down. They leave sort of superficial gouges on the deck, and you're able to kind of push those stones off into the ocean, where they kaplonk and disappear forever.
Perfect. All right, I'm gonna yell at one of the zombies, going, "You were on stalactite duty. You should have been bloody watching." All right, flog it. Actually, it's gonna be that one with who's missing his arm. So I'm like, all right, flog yourself, and I want him to flog himself with his own arm.
Yikes. God damn.
Yeah.
And then like I'm gonna like grab Sawn and like you gotta teach him punishment, mate. You know what I mean? He can't just be Mr. Nice Captain the whole time. You gotta be a bit mean.
Sawn will not. He won't agree or disagree. He'll just look a little bit disapproving of it after being talked down to his entire life.
I'm like, don't worry. You're more important than they are. They're like, it's all good, all right? Basically, you know.
Just say are we not all important? Do we not all serve a purpose?
I mean, look, we're not
yell out from
we're not equal rights just yet. We got zombies as buddy crew, mate.
Someone wants to revise what he said. Aren't we all useful in life?
Yeah, but these guys are dead.
Say no more.
You
Say no more.
stole my line. Fuck you.
Say no more.
The only buddy real true useful, like one of the fucking lot is Kingston Rage and Rolls. You know what I mean?
Ah, yes, the ethereal one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give him.
I've
I'm
not
just
met-
gonna. I'm just gonna give him a shaka, like you know.
Yeah.
I've not met his acquaintance yet, but he seems to be a little
Kingston
bit more
pulls out-
pleasing than the others.
A ghostly cat of nine tails and is like ethereally flogging the zombie on the deck of the ship.
How does
Hey,
that
Kingston-
work for him?
Hey,
Like,
hey Kingston, when you're done with this whole afterlife thing, can I have that?
He says, "This is where the
Wait,
actual
wait.
saying room to swing a cat comes from," by the way, as he's flogging the zombie.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Is it?
That's amazing.
No.
There's room to
That's
swing
awesome.
a cat in here.
Oh
There's
my
room to swing a
God.
cat of nine tails. Like to whip
That's
someone.
awesome. That's awesome.
Good to
This
know.
changes everything.
Oh, you're bloody learning. You learn everything. You learn new things every day when you have DM Daddy as your DM.
That's right.
Big Dom Daddy.
So for every
Sophie,
like
she
on
knew-
the YouTube video, I will give another sailing fact. On that topic.
All right, time to make fucking multiple accounts. Yeah.
All right, so you continue sailing on. The zombies diligently working hard. Thorendir still in his room. Occasionally you hear dulcimer tones echo throughout the ship, and then sort of loud booming and crashing and like the throwing around of opening of cupboards, closing of cupboards, slamming of makeup boxes, and so on.
Aaron might be coming, guys. I know I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool. So you continue along. Roll me another d20, please, Winfred.
Hang on. Apparently Sophie knew that as well, and I feel rather silly.
Don't worry, I didn't know it either.
No.
This
I
is why
feel
you
rather
tune-
silly because I just rolled a natural 1. Fuck me! Oh my
I was gonna say,
God.
even if I guidance you, it's pointless.
I hate this.
But Sorn is standing on the front of the ship.
Yeah.
And looking about as well. And even in darkness, I have 120 feet of dark vision.
Yeah.
So can I make a perception check as well?
These aren't perception checks from him. These are steering the ship, taking its places kind of checks.
Okay.
But as you have mentioned to me that you are on the prow of the ship to be specific,
Yes.
not on the prowl.
Both.
A little bit both.
He's just hanging out, you know? He's got a arm up, beer in hand.
Right. Do give me a perception check as you're kind of listening out, looking out into the darkness as far as you can see.
All right. I have to roll it with advantage because it's still giving me disadvantage even though we're not in sunlight. So I wish it would cancel itself out, but no, I got a 1 and a 3.
Yeah.
Never mind. So a 6 total.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I just take the first roll regardless, right? Because it's a 4. But either way, 4 or 6, much and muchness.
Well, if I roll it normal, it will. Oh, what the fuck?
Well, still roll with advantage. So even if you roll with disadvantage, though, we just take the first roll rather than the lower.
No, now it's giving me the option. Like if I do it now, it'll just do a normal roll.
Oh, okay.
It actually gives me the option now in D&D Beyond, unlike last time. So I got a 4, a 6, and a 7.
Oh, good.
Yeah, all pointless.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm back, guys.
Pauly, you're up in the parrot's nest. Give me a perception check. Yours will be at disadvantage, though.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Guidance.
Yeah, you wouldn't be anywhere near me.
Yeah.
What the
just-
hell?
Also, this isn't like a... Because guidance lasts, what, like 6 seconds? 30 seconds?
Yeah.
This is your guys looking out over a period of time.
Looking around for a period of time. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, wearing a Miss Marvel costume. Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she is.
That's
It's a hoodie that she's got. Hang
That's
on a
sick.
second.
Sorry, I just saw that in the background. Didn't mean- yeah, I rolled an 8.
So through the
Sorry.
darkness,
What beers in the fridge? Yeah.
Winfred, you're sort of sailing along. You can see keeping the edge of the cavern to your side. You're sort of hyper focused on your job of steering. You don't realize that. Well, you sort of see up in the air in the distance that you we should be coming up on Sloop de Loop by now. I don't see the lights of Sloop de Loop in the distance.
Oh no.
Yes, Orn will also say, wasn't there meant to be a town here?
Oh no.
And then you kind of, the three of you here, but very, very late. You don't notice over the lapping of the waves and kind of the sound of the tightening and untightening of the ropes and the zombies kind of groaning. You don't hear until it's kind of upon you. The splashing of oars. And sort of something almost keeping time with that.
As soon as I hear the oars, can I send out some dancing lights towards them?
You can, yeah. So you will. And after I describe what else you hear, because it sort of comes in late,
Yeah.
right? You kind of hear it, but because of your terrible roll, you don't even think you know what it is until it's sort of right upon you. And what you're hearing as well, like you're like, oh, is that some sort of rhythmic, droning, or is that like the sound of the stone under here? And you hear Limo Gugun, Limo Gugun, Limo Gugun, Limo Gugun, Limo Gugun, Limo Gugun. You're hearing the splashing of oars. Sorn, you sort of hold your hand out. These four dancing lights spin around each other and fly off into the distance.
I want to position them 10 feet apart as well,
Yeah.
so that I get essentially a 40-foot, 50-foot of light in a line. They're 10 feet either side of each other.
These supposed to be like flares.
5 feet,
Dylan?
5 feet either side of each other. It's just it's like I throw out essentially like wisps or lanterns, like they're ethereal lanterns or wisps or something, like, or motes of light.
Yeah, don't.
So I'm throwing out. I want them to look like little wispy orbs, sort of thing.
Yeah, they're kind of like the wisps
Great,
from
by the way.
Warcraft 3, right?
Yeah,
What was that, Timmy?
These maps look great, by the way.
yeah, they look fantastic.
Yeah, they look fucking amazing, Dan.
So you see, the first thing you see as the lights glance out, Sorn, is you see a boat to your side. It's got oars on either side, and in it are where are you?
I just want to put them. I'll just draw them on where I want to place them.
Okay,
So I
I'd
would have
put
thrown
them.
them out at the front. So I would have gone like one there, one there, there, there. I'm gonna move them, but
Sure. Cool.
let's do that and then drag them down. So like that. So we've got a full view of what is actually going on.
Yeah.
From the center of their little vessel.
Am I able to roll a wild magic surge, please?
You will when we get to
Seeing
your
as we are passing Sloop de Loop.
turn. We'll see what happens on your turn.
Sure.
You see in the boat, illuminated by the light, a number of Koatoa, and we're going to roll initiative.
Sure.
1-1. I didn't
Oh
roll
man, I'm
into the.
having
fuck
no.
off.
That first roll was amazing, but I've just cursed every other one since then. 9.
Jumped the gun a little bit, so it didn't roll in, but it was a 21.
21, okay.
Yeah, I'm a 9.
9 for Pauly. And then All right. So Sorn, I'm going to put you back at the front of the ship because that's where you were when all this started going down. And you've thrown your sort of lights from there out, and you see the ship. It's got 5 sort of fishmen on it who are sort of chanting as they row to keep abreast with you. And that sort of as they row, it's like Lee, Mo, Goo, Goon. And as they sort of row faster, the chant picks up. Lee, Mo, Goo, Goon. Lee, Mo, Goo, Goon. What do you do?
I will
And
quickly,
with the Olympic rowing team here, Jesus Christ.
quickly look to my friends and just yell. Who are they? Are they? Do we know them?
And Pauly's just gonna go, nothing good.
Okay. Well, Son will, upon hearing that, will make his way down to here. Immediately target one of them.
Dylan's so
just
far
throw
away
off-
that he's only taking up a quarter of his screen. It's,
Oh my god!
That's how
it happened
scared-
Again.
that's how scared Sorn is. He's run away so far.
Keeps happening, dude. It's doing my head in.
That's all good.
Because I'm using Logitech Capture, and it's just being dumb.
How rude. How rude of
All
Logitech.
right. Well, Son will jump forwards, and we'll just send off a at one of them, at the closest one to him. He's going to send off a firebolt.
Mhm.
2 damage, double ones.
Which the one closest to him?
The one closest to me, yeah.
Cool. You also need to roll to hit.
This guy. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's an 11 to hit. 2 damage.
I gotta go and grab my kebab in a minute.
Good. Why is my shit a little bit frozen? Here we go. I don't believe an 11 will hit. An 11 will not hit. Anything else, Sorn?
No, nothing else. He doesn't. Oh, well, he might just step back a little bit. He's got 5, 10. Step back 1 as well.
All right.
And he'll just wait there.
Cool. The one you threw a firebolt at is still rowing. He's going to continue rowing. The one behind him, though, is going to stand up and leap at the ship. And they sort of, as the ship and the Coatoans themselves sort of are rowing and rowing, they get sort of closer and closer abreast of what you're doing. And he's going to run and jump and land on the ship and sort of pull himself up for his turn. Same thing with this guy. He's going to jump up here and okay, yep. And this guy as well. So there's sort of 2 left in the ship, still rowing to keep up as a couple have jumped across. Pauly.
I'll be back in